Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. I don't have to like it. You don't have to like it, but it's factual. Back-to-back cups, 3 straight appearances. They are officially who everyone is chasing. Now, I actually kind of like when the one you're chasing is someone you don't like. Like, if you add too much, like, affection and respect for the top of the top, then, I don't know, maybe you're chasing with a smile on your face, and I don't think that's as effective as chasing with a scowl and wanting to go get them, right? So that maybe is a silver lining there. But the fact of the matter is the Panthers are who they are because they're good. And they are who they are because they carry, like, the stupidest part. And by the way, stupidest, it's only from where I'm sitting, not from inside the Panthers locker room. The stupidest part was it did feel like the Panthers had a chip on their shoulder. Like they were going around like nobody believed in them when they're the defending Cup champions, and they added at the deadline, and they had all of these super good dudes, and it did feel like they're out there to prove something wrong, which is a credit to their culture. Like, Paul Maurice didn't give a post-game presser with a smile on his face the entire time, and it just it's their vibe. So as frustrating as it is, good on them. They're a good team. They played with fight and they won. We'll let Sam Bennett say it because he scored 15 playoff goals. Sam Bennett on why they've continued to have long-term success.
I mean, it starts with the culture here. There's a way that we do things here, and it's not easy. We don't play an easy style of hockey. It demands a lot out of you, but I think every single guy's bought into it, but once the new guys come in, they instantly bought into this, what we do here, and the commitment to being great, to winning. Every single guy just really bought into that, and I mean, it starts with the culture, but the character of the guys. I think that's why we're able to do this.
All right, I'll take all that for face value. He says it. Go ahead. In the interest of the way I look at the Stanley Cup final when your team is already eliminated, or any playoff if your team doesn't make the playoff, right? You're looking at those that are sitting in the seats you want to sit in, holding the trophies you want to hold, and you try to find a morsel, a nugget, something that you can grab from them and apply to your team. I don't think the Canes need any advice on culture. I don't think the Canes need any advice on guys working hard or being selfless or any of that kind of stuff. So you're not going to take that away from the Panthers. You already have that. I talked about it earlier. The silver lining is simple. The system the Canes run, which is similar to the Panthers, can win championships, can be at least on the precipice of a dynasty. This is kind of proof in the pudding, right? It's proof positive that system can win at the highest levels of postseason hockey. The lesson is you need a few more dudes to do it. You need a few more top-level players. You need to ferociously chase having what Eric Tulsky says. And I'm not breaking news here. I'm not trying to, be like, oh, I have this great analysis of get better players. But there is a sense of don't be content. You can be a 100-point team in the regular season. You can be a 105-point team in the regular season. You need dudes in the postseason. The Panthers over the last few years have been aggressive in assembling guys that have become the main characters of their postseason runs. Traded for Tkachuk, traded for Reinhart, traded for Bennett, traded even at the deadline for, in years past, guys like Tarasenko, or in this year, Marchand, traded for Seth Jones, like on and on and on. This is not, hey, we had a good farm system, we drafted really well in the mid-2000s, and it's finally coming to bloom. No, they went out and looked for players that were unhappy where they were, or teams that weren't going to win with their vets and they were looking to sell, and they found a way to buy them, found a way to keep them under the cap, found a way to have them on team-friendly deals. Nobody's making $14 million for the Panthers, but they had dudes. The system is great, and it works, and there's no doubt about that. Matter of fact, sometimes it works so good that you can overachieve with dudes that aren't everything I just said. But this offseason for Carolina is about closing the talent gap. It's about closing the high-end, top-level talent gap. And literally, The way I'm going to start judging them against teams like the Panthers, against the complete full teams, are go 1-1-1-1, right? All right, who's your best player? Who's your best player? Put them on a row. Who's better? Who's your second best player? Who's your third best player? Who's your fourth best player? And I'm not even gonna judge off like, give me your first defenseman, your second defenseman. I'm just talking talent, right? You need a handful of guys that are just studs. It's scheme and coaching and culture can only take you so far. It's both. One of my most frustrating things that every coach in the history of the world has uttered is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? Because that is like a motivational saying, but it is contingent, right? You need the talent not to work hard. Hard work beats talent as long as talent doesn't work hard. The championships are won not by hard work beating talent when they don't work hard. The championships are won when talent works as hard as not talent. So that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Like the Canes' effort. And everybody talks about how their system is so demanding, and after every game you feel like you ran a marathon, particularly if you're on the blue line, and you have to be a certain kind of effort psycho to play in that system, which is all true. And if you play with that kind of effort, you can beat teams that are more talented than you until you run up against a team that is more talented than you and working at least as close to hard as you. And that's kind of what they ran up into, right? There's just a simple, very, very basic truth of sports that you need a guy. And in some sports, it's more important. I'll admit, hockey, it's not as important as maybe basketball. Basketball, if you don't have your all-time great, you better, tank and hope that the lottery looks your way with affectionate eyes. But you need a couple in hockey as well. And we're seeing things like Brad Marchand just solidified his Hall of Fame credentials with this run through the postseason. And I'm probably agreeing, but that just shows – what pick was that even? It was a second that turned into a first because they made it a certain length, and it's not for a billion years into the future.
Yeah, and the thing that bothers me about that is like people are like very upset that the Bruins did that. I can see being upset with the Bruins that they offered him that like 2-year like $3 million per, because that would be pretty insulting. But based on their team's timeline, they sold off everybody on that team at the deadline and bottomed out. Like, I think it's honestly, you're doing Marchand a service. You sent him to a competitive team. You sent him to what appears to be a very desirable destination for top NHL players, and they went and he won a cup, and they got a first-round pick out of it, and it might not be the most valuable one, but it's better than getting nothing and forcing your guy to play out the rest of his contract on a team that's bottoming out for the second half of the season. So it's a move that made sense to me.
It is probably more fun to argue about the Boston side because from the Florida side, it's just, now that it's solidified by this run, you got a Hall of Famer for a pick at the middle of the season, and he ended up being one of your best players in a postseason run. Like, that's the kind of value in the margins that you need to constantly be going after. That's like just those names I mentioned that they traded for. Tkachuk, Reinhart, Bennett, Marchand, Seth Jones. They don't win. You take 3 of those guys off. I don't know if they beat the Canes. I don't know if they're against the Canes in the Eastern Conference Finals. But they made the moves. And again, I hate saying all of this, right? You got a hat tip to your rival. It's like, you don't want to do it, but I am also, and if you listen to the show, I think I make this obvious. I am all about competition, and to the winners goes the spoils, and they're the last one standing.
Exactly. It's hard to see what they've done over the last few years and not, tip your cap and appreciate what they've built. And it's been a good mix of stuff too. They made all those great trades for those top end players, but they've developed a lot of great players internally as well. Barkov being obviously the big one, but also a really big factor. Anton Lundell, third line center, he had 18 points, all at even strength in the playoffs. So, and he's only 23 years old, by the way, so he's going to continue to terrorize people as a middle 6, bottom 6 center for a while.
I want them to sign everybody, particularly the older veterans, to gigantic deals that become anchors. That's They haven't really done that in the past, but I hope they do, because it'd be nice if they slowed down a little bit. But like I said, today is the first day of next year. Ball up top, right? Now everybody's chasing it again. Let's run it back. And I'm going to say this like I said it at the beginning of the postseason this year. From like a are they likely to win the cup perspective, we can have this debate a billion times. I hope the Canes want the Panthers in the Eastern Conference Finals next year. I hope they are frothing at the mouth, salivating with excitement to have another chance at the Panthers next year, especially after they make the additions that I think and hope they will make this offseason to make their team better. Like, I hope they're the type of competitors that aren't going like, I hope the Lightning eliminate the Panthers early. No, I hope they want Tkachuk and they want him healthy. And they want Bennett and they want him healthy. And they want to go up there and show that they can beat and compete and all those things with the team that has established themselves as the team everybody's chasing. Then, from my perspective, it'd be nice if you didn't have to go through that team and somebody else took them out ahead of time. But that doesn't change what you want, right? You want the chance to avenge your previous losses. Although at the end, I think Edmonton was probably going, if we never see the Panthers ever again, that'd be A-okay.
Yeah, I don't think they would mind.
They got some questions to answer over there, too.